I need to quit bodybuilding because I'm going to get sick. I don't have control over my health. I'm going to get sick. And I'm just this constant fear was looming over my head, because if I got sick, then I could be like, I knew I'd get sick. You know, like it was good. I was bound for everything to be taken away from me. It almost happened last year. It's going to happen next year. I almost prepare myself to create a little safety blanket, like you said, to just be like, okay, when it happens, I can say, I told you so, I was right, and I'm ready for it, rather than leaning into actually enjoying life and kind of moving past that.
Ever question those fitness promises? Chris Bumstead tears down the facade, revealing startling truths about the fitness industry. Time for a reality check that might just reshape your workouts.
I think most people in the sport can look at me and be like, okay, he hasn't made much changes in 6 years. Like, and they see me training and they see how consistent I am, so they would understand. But I think a lot of maybe aspiring kids who just want to like maybe look like me or look like a pro bodybuilder, they'd be like, no, I gotta take this, but he's lying. Like I need more, like, to be like that. Why don't I look like that? And they don't see A, my amazing genetics, shout out to my parents for that, and then B, the 10 years of work I put in that has been consistent, you know?
I'm very big on sleep, especially in prep. Sleep is so important for bodybuilding, especially in prep in terms of cortisol. Make sure your body fat's still dropping, but also recovery and everything. And I just am obsessed with it, especially in prep. So yeah, my sleep habits change a lot. I started wearing these like blue light blocking glasses at night for a while. I try not to be on my phone at night. I put my phone on airplane mode an hour before bed. I try and go to bed every night at like 10 p.m., which is really early for me. And I try and make sure that I'm like up at the same time every day and I'm on the same sleep schedule. Just get my circadian rhythm in a rhythm, and it makes my energy level more consistent and more reliable so that I can do what I need to do all day. But sleep is fucking huge, and I think everyone should be on a strict schedule to be consistent with it.
We've all seen those flashy ads and miracle transformations, but what's the real story? Chris Bumstead peels back the layers of the fitness world, exposing myths and misconceptions. We're diving deep into the heart of what works, what doesn't, and why some promises fall flat. Strap in for an eye-opening session that promises genuine gains.
We were talking earlier, one of the good things that came out of COVID was you had nothing else to do. It was the year of COVID, so I literally had 6 months of just like working out in a basement for a while, had to get creative, didn't have a lot of weight, which forced me to like properly contract, build the mind muscle connection. And I was also purposefully doing that, trying to build that. I actually started posing my back, which I never did before, built more mind muscle connection. And I think for a lot of years I had a lot of injuries and like pains and aches, and with doing more shows, and that was my first year where like I had a full off season, no travel because of COVID, and I was just like stuck training with nothing else to do, and I just slept and ate like a bodybuilder, as I should, but you know, life is busy. There's more to life still sometimes, you know?
Well, the difference is, sorry Chris, kind of.
Yeah, no, as you know, there's more to it than just sleeping and doing that. You could, but you're gonna miss a lot of life at that point, a lot of opportunity that I'm not willing to give up on right now. And so balancing it is hard, but that year really pushed me into like one of my best looks I ever had. And then that was like the look, and I was like, okay, this is it. Now it's fine tuning where I'm at right now. Yeah. So it was just a good year, a good off season, and it all paid off.
I mean, I think if you're a bodybuilder and you don't worry about that, you're either stupid or lying, to be completely honest. So it's something I definitely, obviously with all my own health conditions from the past, is on the forefront of my brain. But I just manage it as best as I can. You know, there's blood work you can get done consistently to keep your markers on. There's a lot of tests. You know, diagnostics now are absolutely insane. And if you want to stay healthy long term, it's getting something, if something's going on with you, catching it early. So I do a lot of diagnostics and blood work and make sure I'm getting healthy. And ever since I was sick in 2018, my blood work's kind of continuously improved. So I know there's no like negative impact I'm putting on myself. Like I've reduced a lot of the stress and negative things I put in my body and increased more of my health. Like the type of food I give in me, it's not just calories, it's actually the quality of the food and the type of food and everything that I need, that like I really focus on, rather than just straight macros. I've never been a macro guy, and I'm even less now because I actually care about my health. And all these aspects, like everything I know I need with my body, comes from a lot of the diagnostics I've done and vitamins and all this stuff. And I just know that I've made an agreement with myself that when these things start to falter and they start to go down, no matter where I'm at in my career, if I'm peaked, if I'm not peaked, if I'm about to be better, I just need to call it.
I always loved it, and I trained like a bodybuilder, and I would like to compete one day, but I had no idea of what the bodybuilding really was. Right. I just ate chicken and rice and trained, you know, like who knows? took mutant math shakes and shit my pants from, you know, those math gainers and all that, but got past that luckily. And then Ian came into my life, started dating my sister, and he's just like the cool jack guy of the city, you know, the most jack guy in Ottawa, like the guy. And he's a coach as well, and he's like, yo, you have crazy genetics, like I could coach you into your first show. And Melissa was gonna do a show too, so we decided to do it together. And Melissa wasn't even into competing, didn't even give a shit, didn't even really work out before him.
What are the things that for you are like off the table with regards to this is too much, this is too risky for me?
The biggest one is like trend.
Yeah.
The good old trend that like there's guys who literally like base their social media off that now. It's just like a meme of the internet, of the gym culture. And I don't even think people realize the impact that these jokes and memes have on like people coming up who would just see you constantly joking and talking about saying you need more of it to like be better and feel stronger and all this shit. But that's probably the most toxic thing you can put in your body. And I've done it in the past, but I don't anymore. I just haven't touched it in like 5 years.
Why?
Just the toxicity it causes in your body. Like it just comes in, it harms your kidneys, your liver, just everything that takes your body to process it and go through it. It's just not natural. It's not meant to be in your body. And it makes you strong as fuck. And people say they feel like they're on top of the world when they take it. But to me, that's not really worth the health risk anymore. And another reason why I love Classic Physique is because I hit a weight cap and I was close to my weight cap like 3 years ago. Not at it, but I could have taken more shit and really tapped out and been at the point where I couldn't put on any more weight, or I could actually take less shit and force myself to work harder, be more consistent with my diet and my training and my recovery, and then still get that result. But it would just be a little bit more effort. You know, there's a peak open bodybuilder with no weight cap probably needs to do everything to be the best. But if I can just still put in the discipline and the work and then take out some of the less shit that's hard on my body, then I'm on the same point that I would be. It's just a little bit more effort.
It says it all that you, as somebody who is competing at the highest standard of bodybuilding on the planet, is still finding compounds where you're like, that's off the table. Yeah. That's too much.
For sure. You can always find things to take out and things to add in and ways to get better, things that are like unnecessary, and just kind of fine tuning. And you know, like a lot of any type of success is getting the most out of the least. And what other effort? The amount of work you put in a day, the amount of shit you put in your body, the amount of training even you do, it's just being as efficient as possible so that you're getting maximum result from minimum effort, essentially. You know, life's gonna get sucked, but the more you focus your perception on it, you know, the way you see the world is what the world is. If I choose to be like, you know, today sucks, I'm tired, I don't want to do cardio, I'm fucking 2 weeks out eating 1,500 calories, like this sucks. If that's what I'm talking about, that's all I'm gonna live in. I'm gonna be like, bodybuilding sucks, prep sucks, why do I do this? But if I'm like, this suffering is literally what's going to make me great, and it's going to bring me that amazing moment on stage and all these memories of everything, and this, like, it's pushing me to these limits that I know make me feel proud of myself and all these things. If I focus more on the positive side of things, I'm going to enjoy the reality regardless of the change. The circumstances can be the exact same, but your perception changes everything about how you feel about it. And I think a lot of people who are successful or who are bodybuilders usually kind of tap out because they make it seem like this miserable thing. Like, oh fuck, I have to start dieting. Oh, I gotta do cardio. And then you're just like complaining about it. And why would you want to do anything you complain about every day? Rather than understanding that it's the choice and the beautiful things that come from it are what you should be focusing on, and it leads to more progressive growth.
I think it's like a perfect storm of a lot of stuff that I'm very blessed and grateful that it came into my life, because I have no secret formula to it at all. You know, I think I just focused on staying true to who I was always, and I think I'm different than the typical bodybuilder. I'm not as like crazy intense, like killer, like, you know, like trying to kill everyone, beat everyone. I'm just like a little more laid back, a little more relaxed, and I'm just like, I'm going to be myself and I'm going to showcase it. And I don't think at my point when I came into the league, many people were doing like the whole influencer YouTube side of it and competing at a high level. All bodybuilders were like, I'm a bodybuilder, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not going to YouTube. And like, I don't have time for that. I'm going to ruin my workout if I'm filming. I'm going to whatever. And then they just focused on bodybuilding. And I came in and I was like, well, why can't you do both? And I was younger, of course. So coming in with a generation where social media is a lot more popular, I was still a little bit later than like the really popular side of it. But I decided to, like, I wanted to document as much as I could. And as I slowly did, people kind of took stuff from what they did from it, the feedback I got from like being myself and not being like a crazy, like unrelatable, like mindset that no one can touch. I'm like, I have fears and anxieties, insecurities, like stuff that like I worry about. I shared it, I talked about it, the ups and the downs, and people were like, damn, he's real. I'm like, yeah. We're all real,
Yeah.
believe it or not. I just tried to show it, and I think people really connected with that, and I'm super grateful for it. And it's also allowed me to continue doing so without burning out, because I'm being myself. A lot of people who are putting on an act or a show, eventually they're like, that catches up to you, and you feels like this like fake like aura around you, and this like pressure of like having to perform. I don't have to perform. The camera goes on me, and if I don't want to be on camera, I'm not on camera. If I do, I'm just doing whatever I would be doing not on camera.
Yeah.
So it's really not that difficult for me to do.
When are you going to be done?
It's $1 million question right now. The last few years I've been getting asked that a lot. I think because I went through a tough period at one point where I wasn't thriving in bodybuilding and I wasn't enjoying it too much, and I think I almost like hinted in my energy that this wasn't like going to be forever, and people are like, he's going to retire. So now I get that question all the time. But since integrating myself more into this, like I was speaking about, the CBum versus Christopher, being myself more, allowing myself to feel the stress sometimes makes me more excited about the good parts and feel all the joy rather than just numbing stuff out. It's actually made it a lot more fun. Overall, I'm a lot more excited every year now, and I look forward to it. So every year now I'm like excited to keep going, to be better. And I've always told myself, again, I tell myself these things, if I come to the point where I'm not excited, where I'm not like looking forward to like pushing myself and going past those limits again, and I'm like, oh, like fuck, like I have those days, but I mean consistent, like that's how I truly feel about it, then I need to pull out. Because I don't think without that like love and drive and passion that I'm going to be able to push my body to the limits of where I'm actually capable of being my best self. And I don't want to compete to win another title. I don't want to look worse and win a title. I want to know that I'm progressing and I'm like beating what I looked like last year, which how fucking miserable it was to get down to that body fat and to keep that muscle on me and to train like that and do all that. I want to know I can beat that this year. That's part of what excites me even more than the trophy does. So as soon as I lose that fire, I got to tell myself I'm tapping out and I'm ready for the next part of life. But I'm truly taking it year by year. And it sounds like a bit of a political answer, but I look to the next year and I'm like, if I finish this year and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it again, then I'll do it again. But if I'm like, nope, this isn't it for me, like over extended period of time, I truly in my heart, and I'm done, then I'm going to check out. But I can't predict the future. Again, my health comes into it. My health starts to deteriorate, then I'll be gone. But I've been functioning in a way where I know I have a lot set up post-career. You know, I've never identified myself as a bodybuilder. I don't really even like to like dress looking like I'm this fucking jacked bodybuilder in a tight white v-neck kind of thing.
You look tiny.
I'm just like a skinny guy who walks through the street, you know? Small little, but like I don't identify myself as such. So when I'm done bodybuilding, it's not like, oh no, who am I now? This loss of self. No, it's just a chapter of my life. The book is closed. Let's open a new one. What's next? So just creating a structure right now and a self where there's no fear around leaving it. It'll be sad as fuck, and I will forever miss being this strong, the shredded, this big, the standing on stage, the feeling under the lights, hearing my name called. But there's a time and place for it, and I'm enjoying it right now, and when it's gone, it'll just be time for the next thing.